Okay, getting started. Go live.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody sweat the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as I'm.
Hello, bonjour, Sanbonani. Welcome to Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. It is so significant, good people, to have a positive mindset, more especially under these circumstances. So this network has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. My name is Riel Gunene, and I'm going to be your host for today. So if you're watching us online, please feel free to put in the chat box where you're watching us from and what you hope to achieve from our podcast. Today, we are surrounded by greatness in the World Wide Web. We have amazing speakers who's gonna share some nuggets on human rights. In Orlando, Florida, we have Michelle Jewsbury. And in Baltimore, Maryland, we're gonna have Dr. Femi, and in Las Vegas we have Lisa Manzo. In Colorado Springs, we have Diana, aka Dinky Smith, and in West Palm Beach, Florida, we have Pearl Nepchiarenza. So at this moment, I'll just let our speakers to introduce themselves. So you can go ahead, Michelle.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate being on this podcast. Really appreciate impacting you at home. Everybody during this pandemic has learned to use Zoom very well and learn to get the education that we need from online. So I'm going to talk briefly about who I am, what I do, and give you some tips about how to really help in this economy, help in this day and age when things are so confusing, things may be difficult for people, and we just want more, right? We want even more with our lives. So she said, my name is Michelle Jewsbury. I grew up in a small town in North Idaho, grew up to two amazing parents. I had a younger brother, moved around my whole life. My daddy was in the military, hopping around to different schools in different states. When I was 16 years old, my mom was working in the restaurant industry, and I decided that I wanted a real job. So at that point, I was babysitting and things were going well babysitting, but I wanted something more. So at 16, my mom said that she'd train me in the restaurant industry. So I worked my way from server to bartender, manager, even worked back of the house. I spent over 15 years in the restaurant industry, and I loved the industry. But when I was about 20 years old, I wanted something even more with my life. And how many of you at home know that you want something even more, that you know that your story matters, that you matter, your voice matters. And I wanted at that time to pursue an acting career. So what I did was I packed up my car to the brim with shoes and clothes and moved my happy little butt from Idaho all the way to Hollywood, California. And things were going well. I was starring in plays and independent films, and I thought I was on my way to stardom. And lo and behold, I ended up meeting somebody, this blonde-haired, blue-eyed boy who swept me off my feet. And in 2012, I began a romantic relationship with this man. We'll call him Paul. Roughly 4 months into that relationship was the first sign of violence where my head went through the wall. I ended up staying with Paul for over 4 years. During those 4 years, I endured psychological manipulation, physical violence, sexual abuse, and financial abuse. And when I finally escaped that situation, I sat in front of my computer, very similar to what you and I are doing at home right now. And I just began to document my story because I knew that I had to get it out of me some way. And when I documented it and read it back to myself, I was shocked. I had an aha moment. I had no idea that this could be me that I was reading about. And with my theater background, I decided that I wanted to do something with that story. And I partnered with a great director in the Hollywood area, Jessica Lynn Johnson. And she helped me craft a 65-minute solo play called But I Love Him about my experience in domestic violence. I performed that in the Whitefire Fringe Festival and the Hollywood Fringe Festival in 2016. And people started coming up to me and telling me their stories of domestic violence, their mother, their sisters, their brothers, their neighbors. And I knew again that my story meant something and that I could help so many people by voicing what it is that I had gone through. I decided at that moment that I needed to do something even more yet again in my life. And in 2017, I founded a nonprofit organization called Unsilenced Voices. We currently operate in Ghana, Sierra Leone, and Rwanda, Africa. And we are doing a 5-city tour in the United States this year, starting April 22nd in Dallas, Texas, where we are going to educate the community, but also provide direct resources by partnering and doing cooperative events with other organizations within the city. So from there, in 2019, I published my first book called But I Love Him, same title as my play, but 100% accurate, except for names and places. And then I've been speaking on stages worldwide ever since. March of 2020, I was stuck in Egypt and Ghana coming back when the world shut down. So that was crazy, but I was speaking at the Women's Economic Forum, and it was wonderful. And I, in 2020, spoke on over 150 different virtual platforms and stages. And now we're back live, which is amazing. So what I want to leave you with in my last 3 minutes is a few messages of advice. So if you are at home and you know somebody who has gone through trauma, or if you yourself has gone through or are going through trauma, I want you to know that you don't have to stay stuck in your circumstances, that God is able to turn beautiful things out of broken pieces. So I also teach and coach. I help people overcome challenges, whether that be trauma or 50% of entrepreneurs deal with a mental health condition, including depression and anxiety. So we help people really overcome those challenges to live an even better life, the life that you've always wanted to live. I'd love to go ahead and give you some information. We teach a 5-step process to help you overcome challenges. Now, I know I am limited on time and only have about 1.5 minutes left. So briefly, those 5 topics are recognize, thoughts, feelings, words, and actions. Now, our team has created a free document to give to you. It's a beautiful laid out document with lots of pictures, so you don't have to do a lot of reading. But all you need to do is go to unsilencemyvoice.com. Again, it's unsilencemyvoice.com. And you can download that free document. If you're in the United States, you can go ahead and text the word UNITE, UNITE, to 26786. Again, text UNITE to 26786. And last word of advice that I'd love to give you. I love the movie Finding Nemo. And Dora, in Finding Nemo, while she's searching for wherever she's going and forgetting where she's going, she always sings, "Just keep swimming," because that's what we need to do. We need to just keep swimming, just keep putting one foot in front of the other, and just keep going, because you matter, your story matters, and what you do matters. Thank you so much. I really appreciate the time, and look forward to hearing the other amazing speakers on this podcast.
Oh my goodness, I think Michelle was hungry to speak, because instead of the intro, she just went right ahead with her speech. I'm like, oh, Michelle, just slow down. But thank you so much, Michelle. Like your message, and by the way, congratulations on your philanthropy work that you do across the world. Unsilenced voices, you keep on making a difference in this world. I believe that we need more like you, Michelle, who will make a difference in this world. You've mentioned on how to overcome challenges to even have more success in your life, and your experience on domestic violence and what other women are experiencing out there. I strongly believe that with your message, really, it's gonna make a difference in someone else's life out there who has listened under your voice, really. So thank you so much, Michelle.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, and by the way, Michelle, she is an international philanthropist, a speaker, an author, and a coach. In July 2017, Michelle, she founded Unsilenced Voices, like she has mentioned, which is a nonprofit focused on inspiring change in communities around the globe by encouraging victims to break free and survivors to speak up about domestic violence and sexual assault. You know, her desire to help these victims of domestic abuse came from her personal experience in such a relationship. So thank you. I'll say more. I was just looking at your memoir, but I love him. It's such a painful yet inspirational true story of a strong, independent woman caught in the horrifying cycle of domestic violence and how she got out. So could people go out there and grab Michelle's book, Your Life Will Never Ever Be the Same. So we're gonna come back again to the intro. I know Michelle was like, yes, I just wanna do this. We're gonna come back to the intro, but before the intro, let me declare that we have a disclaimer at Rise to Greater Heights, because I believe that human rights, it's quite a sensitive topic to talk about. So here at Rise to Greater Heights Network, really, we are here to provide information about human rights to the public. Legal information is not the same as legal advice as to the application of the law to an individual's specific circumstances. So we cannot offer any legal advice in response to specific questions. We strongly recommend that you consult a lawyer if you need help on such. So and now we're gonna come back to the intro. I know Michelle, she has already introduced herself. So we're gonna go to Dr. Femi. Dr. Femi is finally here. Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi, AKA GFEM. So you can introduce yourself, sir.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I am Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi, aka GFEM. I'm a global relationship expert who is improving the relationship journey of singles and couples all over the world, irrespective of their race, culture, or age. I'm also the founder of National Relationship Equity Day, which has been made into a national day, and it is celebrated June 24th of every year globally.
Oh, wow. I'm looking forward to hear you speak on relationships. I'm just excited. You can go ahead, Lisa. Just introduce yourself, please.
Hi, I'm Lisa Manzo, founder of the Phoenix Mind. And I've discovered that we teach what resonates with us. And I like to teach what made a difference when I became aware of it. And I'm teaching awareness and how things show up in your life so that you can be the master of your life, and then you'll have the ability to change.
Wow.
Thank you.
I can't wait to hear more about the Phoenix, about the Phoenix. And now we're going to Colorado. We have Dinky. Do you mind introducing yourself, Dinky?
Hello, my name is Dinky Smith. I'm commonly known as that through my real estate career, but I'm also just a regular person going by Diana Smith. And like you said, I live in Colorado Springs. My topic is on the F word. And the F word is very fun. It's not always trashy, but I came across this because I lost a daughter to a drunk driver, and she was killed on my birthday in 2011. And I fell into a really bad place in my life. And a few years later, like almost 10, I was able to turn my life around and find my new way to live. So that's what the F word is about. That's what I'm about. And I'm a lot of fun again. I'm not as fierce or furious as what I was before. So I love being alive again. It's a new feeling for me.
Wow. The F word. I know if you say the F word, someone else is thinking otherwise, but yeah, we're gonna hear more. We're gonna hear more about the F word from you.
I love dropping F-bombs.
Okay, now we're going to the Tampa Bay. We have Pearl. Pearl, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, I would love to. My name is Pearl Sharenza, and I am the owner of Women's Successful Living, where I help women become sheroes of their lives in self-care so that they have harmony and don't look back and have any regrets. I am an author, speaker, and also we have a podcast called Conversations with Pearl, where we just have conversations about what the heck is happening in our life and how can we support one another. So I'm excited to be here and can't wait to hear everybody's stories.
Oh, wow. So now you can really see that we're surrounded by greatness with such amazing speakers. So Michelle, I have a question for you. If you happen to have your own billboard, I can see your billboard coming down there in a busy highway of Orlando. What will your billboard say?
It would probably say, just keep swimming. As I think that it's so important, right? It would probably be catchy. If it was specifically for Unsilenced Voices, of course, our motto is end domestic violence, but it's not a human rights, or it's not a women's issue, it's a human rights issue. So just keep swimming.
I love it. How about you, Dr. Femi? I can see your billboard coming down there. Maybe it's already there in Maryland. Who knows? What will you do?
Oh, wow. Thank you. That's a powerful question. And I see that question as a reminder of what I need to do. I'm actually having a seminar coming up in March in Nigeria for my program, and we've been talking about marketing, and I need to have a billboard so that people can know what's gonna happen. So that question, I would say it will say striking power balance.
Striking power balance.
Yeah. I think a lot of couples struggle with power, and it has led to many issues such as domestic violence and people being ostracized in their own home and not being able to have a voice or say in decision making relating to finances, even to their own personal journey, and they're fulfilling their purpose. So I would say striking power balance.
Striking power balance. I love that. Wow. How about you, Lisa? Maybe your billboard, I don't know where your billboard is going to be, New York or Las Vegas. I don't know, but what will your billboard say?
So my billboard would say life is a team sport and let's play. Because what I've encountered in my own life is that I was doing all these things on my own and I was very lonely and I was so afraid to let people in that I just kept everybody at bay. And since I've done my own personal healing, life is a team sport. I want to play. And I want people to join my team.
I want to play too. I'm joining your team. I love that. How about you, Dinky? What will your billboard say?
My billboard would say, don't let depression ruin your life. Don't let depression ruin your life.
Don't let depression ruin your life. Wow, that's powerful. It's powerful. Wow. How about you, Pearl? Your billboard, what will it say? I can see it coming down the busy highway in Florida. What will it say?
So you're driving on this highway in Florida and you see this gigantic oyster. And on this oyster is this woman jumping out of this oyster. And she's got this beautiful cape on her. And she's telling you, find your inner pearl to greatness.
Find your inner pearl to greatness. I am ready. I am ready for greatness and I love it. So I believe mine will be the 6th billboard driving down the highway and it's going to say, rise to greater heights. Because you know what? The sky is no longer the limit, but it's our point of view. So let's rise to greater heights. And it's coming. It's coming. So now we're going to go all the way to Maryland. We have Dr. Femi, also known as GFEM Ogunjinmi. Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi, mostly known as GFEM, is a certified life coach, international relationship expert, award-winning motivational speaker, and a radio talk show host who has been improving the lives of singles and couples for more than 10 years. Dr. Femi Ogunjinmi is also the founder of the National Relationship Equity Day, which is a national awareness day celebrated globally every year on June 24th. His book, Revelations of Relationship, What You Don't Know About Finding True Life and Sustaining Relationship, is blessing the lives of people all around the world. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Dr. Femi GFEM Ogunjinmi.
Thank you so much. It's a pleasure to be here.
Thank you. You can go ahead, Dr. Femi.
All right, so let me share a little bit about a message that I have for everyone today. Once again, thank you for having me, and it's great to hear everyone's message and ideas as well and what they are doing. I believe in striking power balance in the relationship. I've created a national day called National Relationship Equity Day that is celebrated globally June 24th of every year. Now, I want us to understand what relationship equity means, and I want to make a quick distinction between equality and equity, or relationship equality and equity. When we think about equality, we are basically saying that everyone has access to the same role. We have access to the same position. That's what equality is. Now, equity is taking it one step further, saying that, yes, we both have access to the same position, to the same role, to the same opportunity, but who gets to take the opportunity is defined not by your gender, but by your skill set, by your interest, and also your constraints. So it's not about a gender. It's not about we both have access to this role, but who gets to fulfill that role is not relating to who you are as you are made, man or woman, but the skill sets that you have, the interest that you have, and also what are your constraints, or what is your constraints. So now, going further, a relationship equity by definition is about practicing fairness in the relationship. It's making sure that everyone is using their gift to advance their personal life, and also making sure that we are not defining roles based on gender, but by your skill set and your wisdom, your knowledge, and your interest, and the constraints in the relationship. Now, people want to ask, so what are the pillars of relationship equity? There are so many pillars in the relationship that relationship equity addresses. For an example, it addresses roles. Okay, so who gets to do what? There are so many roles in the relationship. There are so many chores that you guys have to do. Where I grew up in Africa, they'll say it is a woman's role to take care of the kids, and it's the man's role to go out there and hustle and make money. And it's the woman that just stay, behind the house. It is the woman that will do the laundry. It is the woman that will cook. I mean, you have this laundry list of chores and activities that with society has said, women, this is their role, this is their position, this is what they get to do. And the men just stay out, make money. Sometimes even stay out late and partying and engage with other women. And then by the time he comes home, he's expecting the food to be ready. If the food is not ready, he comes home, he crosses his leg, he's watching soccer, football, or reading newspaper. I mean, he's just chilling. So it's been like that for hundreds of years, and it's like we're not really doing anything significant about it, though we do things in the society, in the workplace. But what about the home? Because I believe whatever happens in the workplace has already taken place at home. You are not somebody at home and then you are two-faced, when you get to the workplace. Everything that we are being trained to do in the workplace stems from home. They say train up a child in the way it should grow so that when it grows, it doesn't depart from it. So when we are seeing that there is no equality at the workplace, now the question is equality practiced in that person's home? So it's mainly a mirror of how they grow up, how they are being trained, how they are being taught their environment. So pretty much we look at the roles in the relationship and say, this role, it's not about gender, it's about your skill set, it's about your interest. Now we have what is happening in the world now that women are not the only one cooking. We have men who actually know how to cook better than women. Right. And we have those men, we've been seeing them in the example on TV, that they are making millions of dollars. They are cooking, they are making money. So we shouldn't be genderizing roles, shouldn't be genderizing fixing food or cooking for your family. It's your family. Come on now. So why should that be a role that is given to a particular gender? So we look at those roles and say, okay, we don't want to be genderizing roles. We want to be looking at it as who has the interest, who has the skill set for it. Two is we look at gifting. That's another pillar. Okay, so your partner can be gifted in an area where, she has a purpose of running an empire, running a company, having our own nonprofit organization, being a leader. But because you are so focused on what will people say if my wife is a leader, if my wife is known as a CEO, if she's the boss, how would I look? So you are feeling inferior as a man. And then because of that, we are holding our wives as hostage. We don't want them to fulfill their purpose. We don't want them to fulfill what God has placed inside of them. We are not even supporting them. Some of their dreams may need financial backing because you probably have some money and you don't want your wife to make as much as you. You tell them, no, I can't support you on this one. All right. Just because the way we are thinking. So the ego is playing a role, and how people will be looking at us is playing a role in how we are preventing our wives and supporting them in fulfilling their purpose and using their gifting to work. Another one is submission. That's another pillar where relationship equity applies. Now, submission can relate to many things. Submission can relate into how we are trading ideas, how we are making decisions on, what's going to happen to our children, what school they are going to go to, or where do we want to live, what community do we want to live, or how are we going to spend this money, or what we need to buy in the house. But those decisions, most times in our grow up, and even in America that I've seen to some extent as well in some homes, that decision is made in silos, is made in the absence of the woman. Okay, that decision is sometimes made by the man that, okay, I'm the one making all the money. I have to make this decision. Is it my way or the highway? And in some cases as well, when we see women that are financially independent, they are making money, they are educated, they have their own house, they have their own cars, it's like, okay, this guy is not making as much as you. So you say, I have to make the decision about the money. I have to make a decision on what happens in my house. I have to make a decision on the children as well. Sometimes we are seeing this blended family where the wife has already had children from previous home, and then she wants to get married again, and the person you are trying to get married to, or you are married to that person, you are telling the person that the person has no authority or has no play, has no idea, has no decision on how you're going to raise your children. Well, you are blended family, you've been together now, it should be a decision that is being made together. So we are seeing this ideas being played in the minds of men and women based on what they have. Either they have money or the power that they think they have, that they hold, and they are not being submissive with that. Meaning that I'm not letting your ideas come under my ideas. I'm letting my ideas trump your ideas. So it is my way or the highway. We can't say eye to eye on this type of situation. So relationship equity addresses that area firmly to make couples know that we need to submit to each other. No one has the best idea. No one has the all-knowing ideas or the knowledge ever. God did not create men to say, you know everything, or God did not create a woman and say, you know everything. Regardless of your educational degree, you have a doctorate degree, master's degree, that doesn't mean you know it all. Okay. All right. So we should be able to listen to each other. Right. Like I listen to my children. I have an 8-year-old and a 5-year-old. And I've been seeing how God has been using them to speak to me. Like God is using them to talk to me. So I'm learning from them as they are also learning from me. This is another idea for parents, like listen to your kids. They can teach you stuff that you don't know, okay? Even though you are put in the position to raise them, you are put in the position to guide them. You don't know everything. So in our relationship with our partners, we should definitely make sure that we are submitting to each other's ideas. I want to leave it as that. And then the last thing that I want to say is there are advantages to relationship equity. The advantages in striking power balance. One, it will prevent that power struggle between you and your partner. It will prevent a lot of conflict, a lot of communicational problems. It will eliminate that. It will increase trust, building trust. You can trust your partner can trust you. Also, it can put you in a position where you can maximize your family unit in an area of finances. Now, think about having 2 incomes coming in the home versus 1 income, versus saying that, okay, I'm the man in the house. I'm the one who controls the money. I'm the one that's supposed to be bringing home the bacon. You just stay home and you just watch the kids. And I'm making 100K per year and I'm bringing 100K per year. How much is that going to solve? Especially if you are having a high taste of life. But imagine if you have 2 incomes, the wife or the partner is also bringing money. Now, maybe she's also making 100K or he's making 100K and both of you are making $200,000 and you still be able to be hands-on in all the chores in the house. You are balancing the chores. It's not that this chores only belongs to one person, all hands on deck and you are still making money. So you have you're able to maximize your family unit. You are also able to support your partner in their goals, in fulfilling their dreams. So your partner feels at ease in the relationship, feels that they are being supported, feels that they are being loved in the relationship. And ultimately, what you are also doing is you are cultivating a culture for your children. You are teaching them relationship equity so that when they grow up, they know what they need to practice with their own significant partner as well. And when we do that, I promise you, when you train that home, you create that culture and your children are able to learn from you, because 90% of what our children learn from is not what we tell them, it's what they see. So when you create that culture in your home and your children are able to learn from it, they're not just going to practice that with their partner. Even when they go to the workplace, they're able to practice equality. And if you want to follow us, know what we are doing, what we are about, please log on to nationalrelationshipequityday.org and can follow me on Instagram and Facebook at GFM Speaks with an S and Twitter at GFM Radio. Thank you very much. Thank you for your time, for listening.
Oh my goodness, Dr. Femi just dropped the mic. Oh my goodness. I was like, this topic, it just deserves the whole day. Tell us more about relationship. You've mentioned that relationship equity is practicing fairness in the relationship, and practicing relationship equity can help the couple prevent power struggle, and it can also help to raise strong children, because our kids really, they copy everything that they copy every single thing that we do. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Dr. Femi, for sharing such a profound, much needed message. Thank you.
Thank you.
So now we're gonna go to Lisa Manzo. Lisa Manzo, she's an author, speaker, mindset mentor, teacher, as well as a nurse. Lisa has extensive life experience working with clients and a lifetime experience working on herself. Lisa has risen from depression and addiction to live life on her terms. People looking to transform their lives usually hire Lisa to help them overcome limiting beliefs and gain life-changing confidence to live life of their dreams. What sets her apart from others is Lisa is a product of the product. Lisa's natural and intuitive understanding of her clients, which enables her to lead her clients through the process. Lisa is fiercely committed to empowering people to change their mindset, thus transforming their lives. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Lisa Manzo.
Thank you. I like to joke that I've had so many careers because I couldn't figure out what I wanted to do when I grew up, and I finally got there, so here I am. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about the drama cycle and or the drama triangle, however you want to call it. And here's a picture of it. The victim is on the bottom. You have the rescuer and the perpetrator on the top. And this is called the 1 down, 2 up model. So I'm going to explain the roles of everything. And this way you can see how this shows up in your life. So we're going to start with the victim who's on the bottom. Okay, the victim is the person who feels hopeless and powerless. They feel like they have 0 breaks in life. And why is this always happening to me, right? The victim believes that somebody is always doing something to them, or something is always doing something to them, like, oh, the weather is happening just to me, and this is ruining my life today, or that person is not helping me. And this goes on. So that's the victim. The rescuer is the person who takes responsibility for everyone else's problems. So you know these people, they're in your life all the time. So the rescuer also ignores what's going on in their own life, because usually what's going on in the other person's life who they're rescuing is actually happening in their lives. And this is where they get to avoid it and not participate in their own lives. And what the rescuer does, it gives a temporary relief to the pain of the other person. So I'm going to use the example of, if you feed somebody, if you give the man a fish, you feed him for a day. And if you give him a fish, you feed him for a lifetime. So the rescuer puts a Band-Aid on their problem and doesn't empower them to make any change or to find the solution so that they can live a better life. Now, the perpetrator is that self-righteous person, also can be a bully. They're always right. You need to do exactly what they say in order for you to get what you want. So we move between all of these when we're stuck in the drama cycle. You all have to decide for yourself if you are. I used to be stuck in the drama cycle. So this model really speaks to me because I was able to remove myself from it. So I'm going to give you examples how it shows up in your life. So first of all, in the family. So if one parent is yelling at a child, that parent is perpetrating against that child. And then the other parent walks in the door and takes the child's side, right? So now the first parent feels like, oh, I'm the victim now, they're ganging up on me, right? Because now the child and the parent are together. Or it could be the one parent, I'll use it, mom is perpetrating against the dad, and then the dad is rescuing the child. That makes it easier to understand. And this goes, and we can flip between them instantaneously. And at work with your boss, you know that boss who takes credit for your work, doesn't give you any credit. And then after he gets out of the meeting, he's, oh, I'll do better next time. So he's perpetrating against you because he took credit for your work. And then he's coming out and then he's rescuing himself and you by saying next time he'll give you credit or next time he'll help you. And your position as an employee is limited to what you can do and what you see. And basically you have limited options in that scenario. And then there's the abusive partner one. So if one partner is abusive to the other, And then the next day, so one partner is the victim, one is the perpetrator. And then the next day, the person who is perpetrating says, oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. And he's trying to rescue them by apologizing and changing and saying, I'll change, it'll never happen again. He's trying to rescue that victim. Now the victim at this point can choose to be rescued by him, or can choose another avenue and perpetrate against him and become angry with him. They're all interchangeable. They switch instantaneously just like that. And here's my favorite example. And this is what made me understand that I was stuck in the drama cycle. And it's such a silly example. And I'm like, if it's happening on this small, tiny level, where else is it happening in my life? So my friend Joanne was with me, and she had my keys because my hands were full, and she opens my door to my house and she leaves. Now, I don't know what happened to those keys. So I call up Joanne, and I'm perpetrating against Joanne. Hey, where's my keys? What'd you do with them? I know on some level that she didn't take my keys, right? So 10 minutes later, I find my keys. I call her up. I rescue us both, right? Hey, I found my keys. And that's great. So about a half an hour after that, I called Joanne back and I said, listen, that was me caught in that drama cycle. And I explained this whole story to her. And I said, if I ever do that again, please do not participate. Do not participate. Just say, I don't know, and hang up on me. You don't need to participate in this. And that was really interesting. I'm like, if it's happening on this small, tiny level in my life, where else is it happening? Right? So, and when we talk about the drama circle, I'd like to call it the drama cycle, because I feel like you're just going on that hamster wheel. And when on the drama cycle, everybody has a starting point when they're in it. So mine was the rescuer. I was going to save everybody because I just had that. I could see your problem and I was going to fix you. And that's where my starting point was. I was married to a victim when I was married. And he was a great guy, except he was the victim. Everything was always happening to him. Nothing was ever his fault. He never took responsibility. It was what it was. And that's how I know. I look back at my life and I'm like, oh, wow, it showed up here. It showed up here, and it showed up here. And I want to let you know that you can get out of this. So solutions. So for the victim needs to become the creator. Okay. And what that means is they take responsibility for their own life. They stop complaining and they ask, what do I want? And what steps can I take to get there? Okay. This is super fast, and a super powerful tool for the victim is to have a reflection journal, a gratitude journal, whatever you want to call it, a success journal, you pick your word, and they need to focus on what's going right for them. At the end of the day, what's going right on for them, because they need to shift their focus. And by focusing what's going right for them, it helps move them into the present and out of the victim mode. Okay. Now the rescuer needs to be the coach or the teacher, meaning they're going to empower somebody to change their life. They're not going to fix them. They're going to ask them the questions. Okay. And they're going to say, well, what do you think the solution is to that? And what steps can you take? It's almost like it is like the rescuer is asking the same questions that the victim was asking, but just asking and not giving them the answer. The rescuer encourages people to find their own solutions, supports them while they use their solution, and then asks, what do you want to see happen? And what steps can you take to get there? And then lastly, with the perpetrator, you become the challenger, okay? And you bring challenge to the group and to people, and it's positive challenge, because this inspires breakthroughs, okay? This inspires breakthroughs. It would be if I went to somebody and they were in the drama cycle, I'm not going to say, hey, you're stuck in the drama cycle. I'm going to ask them questions so that they can see where they're at, right? And challenge their beliefs, all right? I'm going to be fair and firm. I'm going to set boundaries. It's really important to set boundaries, especially with victims, because victims will just take your time, and you have to set, I have this much time, we can work on it this day at this time, and you have to set consequences. If you're going to do this and I'm going to do that, and then we're going to work together. These need to be clearly outlined. And this is some of the ways that you can get out of the drama cycle. There are other ways. I actually have a program that I can do for you to move you along a whole lot quicker than you doing it on your own. And I'm happy to share that with you. You may contact me at lisa@thephoenixmind.com, and I'd be happy to give you more information. And today, when you email me, I'm going to send you my 30-day self-love gratitude journal so that you can start shifting your life to being in the present. Because as well as it helping you get out of victim mode, it helps you be in the present. So I'd love to share that with you. So again, email me lisa@thephoenixmind, and I'll be happy to send you my free journal. Thank you.
Oh, wow, Lisa, oh my goodness. Now the drama cycle is everywhere after you've explained. Like today I've learned something new, the drama cycle.
It
And
shows up everywhere.
yeah, it's just everywhere until you recognize it and work on it and then transform yourself, because it can be anywhere, in the business, in your personal life, and within yourself. That's the drama cycle. The way you've explained, I will take it that way. Thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing such a much needed message. And I hope our audience really have gained something from you. And you've also explained the transformation. One thing I like you brought the drama cycle, and then how it showed up in your business, your life, as well as within your personal life and yourself. And then you've explained the transformation. So thank you so much, Lisa, for sharing this message. Now we are going to Diana Smith, aka Dinky. So Diana Smith, aka Dinky, has led an interesting life filled with highs and lows like everyone else on the planet. Dinky Smith is a mother with 2 adult children and a stepmother to 3 adult children. She is blessed with 3 grandchildren and 1 great-great-son. Wow. So in 2011, Diana suffered the loss of one of her adult children to a drunk driver on her birthday. This caused a devastating twist to her life. She took a nosedive in life and experienced severe grief and depression for over 7 years. Her husband said to her, "Diana, what are you doing with your life?" And this awakened her to learn what she was doing. She started researching on mental health and eventually found her way out of her depression. This research and constant study helped her to regain a sense of self-worth and need to live again. Diana is writing a book on her grief and depression journey. She has a website called The F Word, and a future podcast focused on family, friends, and faith. Oh, that's the F word now. Okay. She will be discussing fear, freedom, and more F words in her books and website. Her greatest goal is to help others understand how depression can forever change your life if you stay in that status. Dinky has been a licensed realtor for over 20 years and has enjoyed her career and service to the Colorado Springs community. She is skilled in working with first-time home buyers to empty nesters. Diana is back in the game of life and ready to help those in need of understanding the damaging effects of living in depression. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Diana Dinky Smith.
Thank you. I hope everybody is doing good. So when I drop the F-bomb, it's always not going to be that word. It could be family, friends, faith, followers, whatever, but it depends on the topic. So when I lost my daughter on my birthday, my daughter was a mom, and the hardest thing that I had to do was battle my grief as well as that for my young granddaughter, who is 12. She's the one that's made me a great grandmother, and her son is 13 months and 2 days old. And he's the cutest little guy on the planet. He's got big old teeth and just a beautiful person. But if we go back to the day where the night that my daughter died, it this was person in my life that I gave birth to, that I was the closest to on the planet, because she had her daughter really early. Her child was born weighing 1.13.5 pounds, and she had many challenges from her first breath. So I was right there through the entire journey of her becoming a first-time mom with a preemie baby that didn't have a lot of odds in her favor. And I was the first one to hold this baby, weighing 1.13.5 pounds. And then that was her birthday. And then 12 years and some odd days later, her mom dies. So here I am having to figure out how to explain to a 12-year-old that had already lost her dad when she was 8, how she was going to understand and muddle through all of this and still end up with something that she could call her own. And as I tried to do that, being the fixer in the world, I lost track of who I was. In my grief and my depression, I developed a fractured mind. I started falling down this horrible shaft to find a freaky friend that became my best friend, my monster inside my head. And that monster led me to being a furious person. I developed a fascination with depression. I didn't understand that my mind was broken. I tried to do things, but I found myself being more in bed, more away from everybody. I became isolated. And in doing that, I lost my feelings for just about everything in my life. I pushed my husband away. I pushed my family away, all my friends. I became alone. That's what depression really does to people. You become lost in your own head, and it can happen to young people and to old people. We see that in the world today. We are actually witnessing the whole world facing this, horrible thing called depression, but it has to start somewhere. When we face a traumatic experience like being stuck at home, with parents that don't know how to teach you, not being around your friends anymore, not being around your family anymore, you start having things rewire in your head. And it's not something that you want to have happen, but it just does, because a weaker mind is not able to truly control where they're at or what they're doing or what's going around in their world. So when the mind becomes smaller, the pain becomes greater. When the mind is bigger, the pain is less. So people that have a balanced life, they're able to actually manipulate what is going on. And they can say, I'm not going to deal with that. It's not going to pressure me into thinking less of myself, less of others. I'm going to have that balance in my work life, in my family life, in my social life. And they're able to move forward. But when something traumatic happens, you end up with a fractured mind. And that's what happened to me. I lost my ability to make good decisions. And when that happens to a child, that can have a really long-term effect on them. And any child that doesn't have someone that helps them understand a balance, because anybody that's in this funnel of, lostness, they don't know where to go. They look, but slowly, all the foundation that they've had, the roots that have been set in place, they start, becoming unrooted. And that child, that adult, that older person, they become unable to really be stable in their world. They need help. But when family and friends, followers, fans, foes all disappear, a person is left to try and figure out how to put it all back together. And their mind isn't just fractured anymore, it becomes fragmented. And they're trying to just desperately hold on. But when they are able to say, I need help, like my husband said to me, Diana, what are you doing? I couldn't figure it out because I was just floating. I was just kind of going from one place to another in my head, and I wanted to be left alone. But when I was able to grab a root and hang onto it, because I had pushed everybody away, it's like, leave me alone. I don't need you, I'm fine. But I grabbed a root and I learned that I could actually have a life again. I had to wake up because I read the DSM-5. I don't even know where I put it, but the DSM-5, I flipped through there and I have tons of notes. Almost every page has my name on it because of I could relate to that situation. I had to learn to forgive myself because of what I had done. I left a path of destruction way behind me. And then when I looked back, I could see the fault and the failure in what I was doing. I had to forgive myself. I had to look at what I had done and I had to forgive myself because I failed as a person. It wasn't something that I wanted to do, but in my head, I lost it. So in order for me to move forward, I had to understand what had happened, because I lost control. I wasn't the fixer anymore. I was the one that needed to be fixed. I had to breathe. I had to take the time to allow myself to grow in a different way. I had to focus on understanding where I needed to go, and that was forward, not backward. So when I could see that, I could smell the coffee, I could feel the sunshine. I could do so many more things because I was coming out of my funnel and leaving the freak behind. But that freak, man, I'll tell you, did a fine job on messing with my head. So now, after all my research, after understanding me a lot better, I have the freedom to find my new way. I am back in real estate again, and it's not that I was ever out of it totally, but I didn't function well enough to make these decisions with and for people. When you are facing depression, you are literally broken, and you have to find the glue to put it back together, but you're going to be a different person. And for me, my freedom is to be able to be a better person, to not be the same, person that said, oh, you're not this, you're not that, you're not enough. Now I look at people far differently than what I did before, because the hardest thing in this world is to be judged. And when we judge others harshly, that's just the anger and the fury coming out of our ugly self. So now I have the freedom to be a much nicer person, because I see what it's like to be the people that don't necessarily feel good about themselves. But that's where family and friends and followers support each other. Because when you have one tiny bit of you fractured away from the better part of you, it needs to be fixed. That's where a support system comes in and makes a difference in helping us all be the whole, better, free person that we need to be.
Oh, wow, Diana, you are a true definition of overcomer. You overcame a lot and you are still here. You're making a difference with your voice from your experience. My heart, honestly, my heart is just reaching out to you for your loss. And thank you, Diana, for sharing your message, how you've lost your daughter to a drunken driver. And it's worse because it was on your birthday. And also to recognize what could have been done for your mental health. You've mentioned that you believe that it is so important for every human to be able to recognize mental health issues before they spiral out of control. Diana,
Right.
Thank you for sharing your message. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
So now we are going back to Florida. We are going back to Florida. We have Pearl Nabchiaranza, and Pearl, she founded Women's Successful Living to help women understand that to give fully to others, so we must first prioritize our own self-care. So as a naturopathic empowerment life coach, she's a published author and a speaker. Pearl loves helping women to push themselves first authentically, so without guilt, empowering women to reach for more out of life so that they don't look back wondering where they were in their own autobiography. Women she works with become heroes of their lives, finding their inner pearl for greatness. Pearl provides women with private and group coaching, quarterly tribe meetings, and yearly pajama retreats. She loves empowering women with tools to help them set goals to achieve their vision while taking care of their families and professional lives. Don't be surprised to find Pearl hosting or speaking at events in her PJs or without makeup, as being your authentic self is what she strives to empower other women to achieve. So kings and queens, please join me and welcome Pearl Nabchiaranza.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. So I'm just going to get into my story. At a young age, I'm the oldest of my 3 siblings, and my parents would go out. I grew up in the military as well as Michelle, and my parents would go out and they would have their really good friend sitter come, and he would babysit us. Unfortunately, I was a product of domestic rape from him, because that's what happened. For whatever reason, I don't know why he chose me to be the victim, but I used to be sitting there and my sister would try to come in the room and I tell her, she needs to leave. At that point, I think in my life, I started becoming that protector. I need to protect everybody, but forgetting to protect myself. And so it took some time. And as I went through my life, as I became older, I started seeing those things show up. I played soccer and I was the only junior on the team. So when it came time to be lettered that year, I didn't get a letter because I was a junior on the team. So I was bullied or abused because of a situation. And so I decided I did not want to live my life that way. I worked through high school at 14 years old. I got a job. If I wanted to go and shop at the malls with my friends, my parents couldn't afford it, so I went to work. So I worked full time while I was in high school as well. At 17, I wanted to move out. I was paying pretty much everything in my world, my car, my insurance. So why did I have to stay home and have rules? So I went out, moved out on my own. It was the best thing I could have done. I started to find my independence. I actually met my husband at 19 years old. And he's the one who really gave me that empowerment to say, you have a voice and you're not using it. If we would get into arguments or have a disagreement, I grew up in a house where they didn't talk for 2 weeks to each other. So I didn't know how to communicate. And he would say to me, we can't communicate if you don't use your voice. And so I started to use that voice. Now, if you ask him today, he'll say I use that voice way too much on him, but it's okay. He empowered me to do that. So I started, we tried for a long time to have family. 10 years later, we were able to adopt our oldest son. He was born of our heart. Amazing young man. A few years later, through infertility, we were able to have our youngest son. I was a number 5 in our company when I lived in Virginia for mortgages. I was the number 1 female. We moved to Florida because I was going to be the stay-at-home mom. And I got down here and I realized I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom, but I want to have some harmony in my life to do something I love, but still be involved in my kids' life because I tried so hard to be a mom. So I took on a role at PTAs and things like that. And I kind of lost myself. My friend said to me, "Who are you?" Because we had to do an I am statement in a course we took. And at the end, I still said, "I am a mom and a wife." And then she said, "But don't you have another son?" Because I kept talking about my oldest one. So I had this reflection of going, you know, so often in our world, we live behind other people. We want to push them forward. Like Lisa was saying, we want to be that rescuer, right? We want to rescue everybody. I felt like I want to rescue my son, my oldest one, because keeping him out of trails and places he might be going that were not the right course for him. And I started realizing I needed to have myself. I need to find who Pearl was again. I'm an amazing person, and I lost that person in that move. And as I started reflecting on how do I become Pearl again? How do I get my voice out? I started realizing as I was talking to other women, I wasn't alone. But what I was really realizing is that our young girls in high school were also struggling behind thinking, I have to have somebody to lead me through my life. Like they think they have to have a man in their life to be successful, right? We don't have to have all that. Having a relationship is beautiful. If you've been in the right relationship, it's awesome. But first you have to have a relationship with yourself. You have to be able to say, who am I and do I love myself? And if I don't, why not? What's happening in my world that I don't love myself? Who can I go to? Because if we don't start realizing that and we don't start empowering, especially our young girls and young adult women, and now we're even finding young adult men, they'll go down and make choices in their life that are not the best choice for them. They might have that person that says, hey, let me show you the shiny object over here and come over here. And all of a sudden, they've become lost in a world of possibly human trafficking or prostitution or things like that, right? So we have to empower ourselves. We have to find a way to fall in love with ourselves first. Right. We have to find a way to be authentic. I live behind my son's goal of becoming this football player, right? And that was like my world. I'm gonna get him. And you know what? He did get the scholarship at high school. He got all those things. When I dropped him off at college, I said, here is your gift that God and I have wrapped for you. How you unwrap it is up to you. I have to go unwrap my life. And so when I work with women, I want them to learn how to unwrap their life. Yes, right. My name is Pearl, and I have the best name in the world because I can say, as an oyster, if you think about that oyster, you find it on the ground, right? And you're opening it. It's rough on the outside, but as you start working on that roughness and you start seeing there's something beautiful inside, and it can be a pearly white pearl. It can be a beautiful dark pearl. It can be anything you want it to be if you shine it with your own integrity and your wants and your needs. And part of that is getting up and telling ourselves every day. First of all, I get up every morning. I have an amazing meditation coach that has taught me how to meditate. I never thought I could sit by myself in silence, but I've learned so much about myself by sitting in silence. And I get up every day and I'm thankful. First, I open my eyes, and second, I'm breathing. Third, my feet are touching the ground. And every morning when I go in the mirror, right there, I say to myself, I am beautifully and wonderfully made, and I deserve everything that is about to hit my road today. No matter what it is, whether it's good or bad, I will have a lesson that I will learn from it. I like that. And that's so important that we understand that in our lives, that, we talk about climbing, what's your goal? Climbing a mountain. Why do we have to rush up the mountain? Why do we have to rush through life? Why don't we stop and find a way to love ourselves? How about you walk up that mountain and take a break as you go up the mountain and say, this is good for me. These people are not good for me. What's my lesson I learned? Who can I release? And who do I need to help me finish the climb? Right? And then when you get to the top of the mountain, be excited about your goals that you accomplish that goals, right? And then say to yourself, I'm not falling down the mountain like Jack and Jill. I'm going to enjoy the walk down the mountain, right? Because there's a lesson to be learned. But guess what? I'm going to take another picnic break going down the mountain to say, whoa, I'm going too fast. I'm in the wrong space. Maybe I need to make my goals different. And what do I need to do? Because yes, we have a climb. We go up in the airplane, we go up in the air, we have to come down, but you don't have to fall down. You can surround yourself with coaches. I mean, we have amazing people here. I mean, Michelle, Dr. Femi, Dinky, Lisa, you guys have amazing stories. I mean, I've lost friends to drunk drivers. I've lost friends to suicide, right? Mental health is a thing right now. And so I want to empower not just the listeners here, but our young adults to say, you have a lot of stuff that we think we have to do when we're in high school. Oh, we got to do this. We got to pick a career. No, enjoy today. Enjoy what's here today. Because tomorrow will come, possibly, but it might not come. So what have you appreciated today, right? And so something I also want to just share in my last few minutes I have together is really talk about 6 self-destructive beliefs to banish from your life for good, right? Think about what you think and believe, as I said, about yourself, the world. It has that powerful impact on that everyday existence that we have, right? So unfortunately, some of those beliefs are downright destructive. You know, I had to release my dad out of my life. My dad became racist towards my son. My oldest son, he is Haitian and Czechoslovakian. I was a daddy's girl. The hardest thing I had to do was tell my dad, you know what? You're not behaving in the world that I want you to around my children. So you have to go sit outside of my fence. I don't like the word boundary so much because I feel like a boundary is so permanent, but I can have a fence around my world and I can open the gate when I feel like you deserve to come into my backyard. I also am really not a big believer in balance because you can't have balance every day of your life. But if you can have harmony, how beautiful is that? I went to Vegas last month and my life wasn't in balance because my family's in Florida and I was in Vegas. How is that balanced? But I had harmony because I knew I took care of what needed to be done at home and I was doing what I needed to do in Vegas. So I want you to think about some beliefs. These are just useful, helpful, a list of unhelpful thoughts that might sound familiar to you. And if so, I want you to recognize them and find ways to replace them. First one is, I'll never have the life I want. How can you move forward and work towards accomplishing if you believe that statement, right? But if you replace it with more positive words like, I work every day towards getting the life that I want to have, and this is how I can do it. This one's a big, powerful one for me. You know, my parents have never told me they're proud of me. I mean, I've been married 37 years. I have a successful career, amazing family. But if you think about it, if you had a mother or somebody in your life, a coach or whatever that might be that said, you're never going to amount to everything. We're not all lucky to have super parents, but you might have had a parent that said these things. If you can realize long-standing self-deprecating beliefs, that will do you a world of, don't believe those. Free yourself from remaining loyal to your parents' sentiments or whoever said that about to you, and instead create your own truth through the actions that you take each day to live your best life. Do the best you can. You know, I coach moms and like, oh, I'm just a mom. I'm like, no, you're not. You're a CEO of your home. You are running your home and you are running a great business. You're not just a mom. Maybe somebody's told you you're not pretty or handsome enough to get the partner you want, right? A good way to dispute this ill-conceived notion is really to look around you every day. Everyone has a partner that doesn't meet the standards of Miss America and Barbie Ken doll, right? But if each person has their own unique look, unless you're a twin, it's okay for your hair if it's not perfect or you're not as tall as you want to be, right? It's okay. But take that honest look at yourself and notice your strengths. I posted yesterday on Facebook, I had to cut my hair because I got COVID. I've had long hair for so long. I was like, oh my gosh, last thing I was like, but I have beautiful green eyes. So I love my hair, so just think about those things that are beautiful about you. And then another one I want to share is some people will say, our young adults are going through some of this too, you guys. Some of these statements are resonating with them. My life is like this because it's just the way it is. I can't do anything about it, right? Identify the power you have to create the life you want, and then use it to construct that life. If you create I have a friend that makes beautiful flowers. If you can create those, that's a great talent. I can't grow flowers. All my plants are fake, right? Use that to construct the life you want to seek. And sometimes I used to tell myself, I'm not smart enough to get the job I want. I didn't go to college. I didn't have the opportunity to go to college. I realized if I worked hard, I'm just as smart as that person that went to college. I just don't have the degree. And sometimes I outshine them. So commit right now to take the steps that was ever necessary for you to have the career that you seek. And so I want to say to you, as I love to share on my podcast, if every one of you are sheroes, if you're female, you're a shero. Dr. Femi, you're a hero, but everyone is a shero in their life. And the thing is, if you're not sure what that looks like for you, reach out to a coach. And if you want to join us, we have what's called a Shero League. We meet every Sunday evening. It's virtually. It's a lot of fun. It's a group coaching. We let you come one time for free, and then it's very inexpensive to join. But we're there to support. We don't record the meeting, and we just help one another out. Sometimes one lady just needs us our whole time, and we do that as well. So if you're interested, just go to wsliving.com, and you can join us there and get more information. But I want to leave you with this. You come into this world, as I said, as this beautiful oyster. It's a little rough on the outside, but if you just open it up and look inside, you are going to find your inner pearl to greatness. Don't hold back the talent and tip you have today, because God has created, whoever you believe in, has created a gift for you. If you keep that gift to yourself or don't use it for yourself, you're cheating yourself, but mostly you're cheating me from receiving that gift. Thank you.
Oh my goodness, Pearl just dropped the mic. Wow. By the way, I love your background. It's so positive. Like, I love to love myself, self-love. You love to self-care. You've mentioned that it's not being selfish. Learn to say no. Be authentic with your own life, with your own self, so that when you go out there, you just outshine everything around you. So thank you so much. Thank you so much, Pearl, for sharing such a profound message. I believe, like, with all these messages from all these amazing speakers, really today it's going to be a world of difference to our audience. So to our audience online, please feel free, if you have any questions to any of the speakers today, just drop your question in the chat box, and then we'll come back and attend to your question at the end of the podcast. But right now, I'm just going to be the next and final speaker. So before I speak, I'm just going to share my bio, and I'll come back and speak.
Non-Pumelelo Rial Kunene is a highly sought-after, energetic, certified Les Brown International speaker. She is the author and host to Rise to Greater Heights, a book and YouTube channel to turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. Rial is also a coach, mentor, and an MC, well known for encouraging many to rise from mediocrity into greatness. Her vision is not only to motivate, but also to empower audiences with a fresh perspective, inspiration they require to pursue success and drive sustainable outcomes in a seriously funny way. Rial believes that we are in full control of our choices. Her mission is to meet the needs and transform lives of her clients and her audience. Rial's book, Rise to Greater Heights, has inspired and empowered many to pursue their personal and professional passion to become go-getters. Her goal is to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs, then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. Rial Kunene wears many hats as a professional certified sales manager, CEO, strategist, certified travel counselor, trainer, esthetician, philanthropist, diplomacy protocol officer, international human rights analyst, and a commissioner for OAS. Following her dreams gave her purpose to see her goals through and understand that she does have everything she needs to reach her full potential. Her everyday message is that your journey to be a better person starts with you. So knowing who you are to your core will make you understand that you are the only one who can accomplish your dreams. Hebrews 11, Psalm 27 and 40. Keep her to rise to greater heights. Kings and queens, please join me. Welcome, Riel Kunene!
Thank you so much, amazing speakers. You know, you've set the bar high. I'm not too sure if I'm gonna be able to fill in your shoes, but I will try. I'll try to fill in your shoes as much as I can. But before I continue, I just want to double check if I'm in the right platform here. How many of you with a raise of hand can say that, Riel, I have never, ever complained in life? Never, ever complained in life. Seemingly, I'm in the right platform because, you know, sometimes in life we go complaining about everything. Oh, the weather is really bad today. Traffic was worse than expected. My family drives me crazy sometimes. Oh, the movie was really disappointing. You name it. Though whining can be a way to build an inspiration, it can also keep us from acting, and it gives excuses time to procrastinate from achieving goals. One thing I've realized is that we usually complain in the wake of a negative situation. We tend to focus more on the problem than finding potential solutions. It's always much easier to complain than to find a solution. And individuals who whine on a regular basis, they're apt to have a bad health. So next time we'll find you complaining that, why do pizzas come in square boxes? Yet they're round. And funny enough, they're cut in triangles. Does that sound like you? Yeah, please write this down, What are human rights? What are human rights? By the way, Michelle, congratulations on your philanthropy work with the Unsilenced Voices by encouraging victims to break free. And you are also encouraging survivors to speak about domestic violence and sexual assault. So congratulations on that one. On another aspect, Dr. Femi, oh my God, I was like, your topic, it just desires, it needs the whole day. Talk about relationships. You've mentioned relationship equity is practicing fairness in the relationship. And Lisa, on the other aspect, oh my God, she explained the drama cycle and how it showed up in your business as well as your personal life. Diana, she came in, she shared her story. My heart is really reaching out to you again for losing your daughter. Really, it's worse because it was on your birthday, and also to recognize what could have been done better for your own health, for your own mental health, really. And Pearl, oh my goodness, I think I'm ready to learn to say no. I'm ready to learn to say no, since you've mentioned that self-care is not being selfish. So we're coming back again. What are human rights? What comes into your mind when you hear the word human rights? You can just put it in the chat box. I'll come in and see what comes into your mind when you think of the word human rights, because human rights really are the fundamental rights and freedoms inherent to all human beings, regardless of your gender, nationality, place of residence, sex, ethnicity, religion, or even your skin color. Human rights are not just about the law. So human rights are non-discriminatory, meaning that all human beings are entitled to them. Good people, you really don't have to see the whole staircase in life, but you'll have to take the first step to get to the top. As my mentor always said, that you don't have to be great to get started, but you'll have to get started to become great in life. My everyday book says that you'll have to learn to do good, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. So get started today, seek justice, correct oppression, bring justice to the fatherless, and plead the widow's cause. To me, really, it was the death of George Floyd that made me to realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear, maybe because of the color of their skin, and where the criminal justice system treats everyone fairly and equally. If you remember it very well, May 25th in 2020, George Floyd died in police custody in Minneapolis, Minnesota. This 46-year-old Black man was arrested and killed after a convenience store employee called 911 on Floyd's suspicion of passing a counterfeit $20 bill. The video that was captured by a bystander, it showed George Floyd pinned face down on the ground and in handcuffs, and one of the police officers kneeling on his neck as he was pleading for help. I can't breathe, I can't breathe. And finally, he fell silent. May his soul rest in eternal peace. It is so impossible not to be outraged after watching that video of the Minneapolis officer pressing his knee against Floyd's neck for a period initially reported to be 8 minutes and 46 seconds. I believe that everyone is born free and has the right to life. And that's the reason why I am here to educate everyone to know their human rights. Try by all means to get familiar with your human rights so that you will know next time when your human rights are violated. Always seek passion, good people. It's so funny how my mom and dad gave me this beautiful, beautiful name, Nompumelelo. I know many have messed up with my name. They butcher my name always. They try to say Nompumelelo, but you know, Nompumelelo in my own language, it means mother of all success. So now you can see that I am really, really challenged to chase after success no matter what comes my way. I'll have to chase after success. If I may ask you, how many of you have dreams and goals maybe that you want to achieve in the next 6 months? I want you, as you think about your dreams and goals, to put this down. Rise to greater heights. Rise to greater heights, because you need to be clear about your career goals in order for you to gain guidance on professional development. As a mentor or as a coach, my goal is really simple. I'll have to study your current situation, identify limiting beliefs and other obstacles that you might be experiencing in your life, and then design a plan of inspired action to empower you to achieve specific outcomes in your life. It was Barack Obama who once said, the future rewards those who press on. I don't have time to feel sorry for myself. I don't have time to complain. I'm going to press on. You really don't have to be politically involved to know about your human rights, good people. Right. All human beings are entitled to them, and you can never, ever be excluded from your own human rights. Why? I'm glad you've asked that, because these are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. As flight attendants always say that, put on your oxygen mask first before you assist others, because if you don't, you and the other person you're trying to help could possibly go down. So this is a wake-up call, good people. This is a wake-up call to get to know more about your human rights. But when that alarm clock goes off, please, please don't ever hit the snooze button. Don't be like, I will wake up in the next 2 minutes. I will wake up in the next 4 minutes. You know what? Forever is a long time. Why don't you wake up, get going, and make a difference? Get familiar with human rights. Remember that a right is a freedom of some kind. It doesn't matter where we were born or what kind of family we were born into. We all have the internal recognition of the moral quality of one's motives and actions. It was Nelson Mandela who once said, to deny people their human rights is to challenge their very humanity. And this message stirred something within me. I so wish that you can tell yourself that with all the wisdom, I call it wisdom, with all this information that you got from all these amazing speakers, you'll have to make a difference. If you want to see a change in this world, it should first start with you. If you want to see a difference in this world, make it to yourself first. But in order for you to make that difference, you've got to be hungry. You've got to be hungry like a hungry lion in the jungle. With that hungry lion in the jungle, really, it doesn't matter what kind of animal comes his way. It doesn't matter if you're that giant elephant or that small squirrel by the jungle. All that hungry lion sees in front of his face is lunch. And it's so funny because even with elephants, when they see a lion, what they do is that they run. It's all about the mindset. Once you believe, you become. They already told themselves that, you know what, I'm a lunch to that lion. So each and every time when I see a lion, I'll have to run. I believe that's the mindset that we need in order for us to make a difference in this world, the lion mindset. Because I believe that we all rise together and we rise by lifting each other up. We are only here to fix each other's crown than to tear anyone down. We are only here to be the change that we want to see. It's so funny, when I was in the 8th grade, I was nicknamed Phoenix. I was nicknamed Phoenix after writing a composition using the idiomatic expression that says, I rose from the ashes like a phoenix bird, meaning I became successful again. Really, that English teacher, she didn't know that the nickname Phoenix, it resonates with me. And it also aligns with my destiny. So for those of you who don't know the phoenix bird, the phoenix is a Greek mythological bird believed to rise from its own ashes after being buried like hundreds of years ago. This immortal creature, it acquires new life by rising from the ashes of its own ancestor, which represents our capacity for vision and success. I want to encourage you, if you're listening under my voice today, that when your world comes crashing down, wear your scars to show how your phoenix feels like to die from inside. And trust in your own capability to rise from your own ashes, since the phoenix has to die first, burn, experience pain before resurrection from its own ashes. Please write this down in conclusion. Resilience to greatness. Resilience to greatness. I'm not too sure if you want me to remind you that your setback is your setup for your comeback. Everyone have heard this statement before. Your setback is your setup for your comeback. If I can be honest with you, I don't know what goals you've set for the next 6 months. I don't know what dreams you have for your future, but here's one thing I know about you. You are destined for greatness. Inside of you, God has put seeds of excellence. Those seeds are supposed to grow and flourish. But many people have become crippled by their past encounters, and some have stepped over other people to get to the top. But I believe that God has a better plan for every one of us. Your objective is what you were designed for and the reason why you live today. With God, I believe that we're all destined for greatness as long as we follow his strategy. This is when the growth commences, because discovering your gift and following God's idea will make you understand that you are the only one who can make your dreams come true today. My everyday inspiration, Mr. Les Brown, he once said, if you had to die today, at this very moment, at this hour, what dreams, what ideas, what visions, what goals, what skills, what talents, and what books will die with you? And Dr. Miles Monroe continued saying that the richest place on this planet is the cemetery, because that's where all the dreams, all the visions, all the goals, all the talents, all the skills have been buried. Honestly, I don't know about you, but with me listening to this message, it gave me sleepless nights. And I am proud that I started journaling my first book, Rise to Greater Heights, which is a comprehensive guide to turn your fears into greater success. And I didn't stop there. Like I've mentioned, the death of George Floyd, it made me to realize that we need to stand for a world where no one shall live in fear. So I wrote Human Rights, which are God-given fundamental rights and freedoms. In this book, you'll be able to explore 30 Universal Declaration of Human Rights. And I didn't stop there. Guess what? We came together, different authors around the world. In Resilience to Greatness, 15 different authors, and in Cultivate Your Mindset for Success, 17 different authors around the world with only one mentality: cultivate your mindset for success, or resilience to greatness. I believe with all this book, really, it has the potential to completely revolutionize every aspect of your life and career. And I also have a free transformation guide for you. It's available on my website, www.risetogreaterheights.com. With this free transformation guide, you'll be able to explore leadership, empowerment, being purpose-driven, mentorship, coaching, resilience to greatness, mental health, emotional intelligence, and many, many more topics, including spiritual growth, as well as successful parenting. Because you know what, growing up, I didn't have much in life because my father decided to have an early departure from this planet Earth. But I had everything because of my mama's love. And I love you so much, Mom. So I think whosoever said that the sky is the limit was wrong. From today on, I, Riel Kunene, believe that the sky is our point of view. So let's all rise to greater heights. Thank you. Thank you so much. Amazing speakers. Oh my God, we're at the end of the podcast. Wow. So at this moment, I will just let our speakers, if you forgot to share how the audience can reach out to you, please share how the audience can reach out to you. And also, if you have any freebie that you just want to offer to the audience, this is the time where you can just share with them, as well as share your final thoughts on human rights. So any speaker can just jump in and share your final thoughts, share how the audience can reach out to you. And if you have any freebie to offer, please feel free to share that.
I'll go first. So this is Pearl. You can go to wsliving.com and download my free ebook to 5 minutes to transform your life. Some quick tools and steps. So it's wsliving.com. And to your question for human rights, I really believe, like I said, we all have a voice and we have a right to use that voice and to not let anybody keep us and not let us feel we're important, because you're just as important as the next person. So thank you.
All right, I guess I'll jump in. If you would like to download the complimentary document to help you overcome challenges, the 5 steps, go ahead and either text UNITE to 26786. Again, text UNITE to 26786 if you're in the US. If you're not, then go ahead and go to unsilencemyvoice.com. Again, unsilencemyvoice.com. And last thoughts is, you guys, this time in our lives may not last, and take full advantage of every opportunity and every time that you have, whether you need self-care, whether you need relationship care, whether you need to pick up that phone and call somebody and tell them that you love them or care about them, do so, and know that you're never stuck where you are, and it's only you that can make a change for your life. So thank you.
So I'll jump in here. I have a free ebook, a chapter in a book I've written, and it's called Delusions of the Mind. And it talks about how the mind, your own mind plays tricks on you, and you're not actually seeing your own reality. And you can go to www.thephoenixmind.com and get your copy today. It's really interesting, because really what I was seeing, it was an interesting revelation. Thank you.
My name is Dinky Smith. I have been pretty pleased with Brent, but if you would like to get hold of me, you can contact me at thefword.biz. I'm just getting my website up, but this takes a whole different. I used to do real estate videos and serious and of a real human nature, so I'm having to frame this. So you can reach me at, because that's my website is thefword.biz. A few F-bombs today, but hope nobody minded that. The whole thing that we have in this world is time. We can't see it pass by, but we can hear things pass by, like the clock go tick, tick, tick. If we take care of ourselves today, we can live better by understanding who we are. Nobody can hear you, Dr. Femi. There we go.
All right, good. I had to get off from my mixer. All right, so I want to say thank you once again for having me, and also listening to all the coaches and experts on the line. I really learned a lot from everybody. And for our viewers, if you want to connect with me, just please log on to gfemspeaks.com, gfemspeaks.com, GFEM speaks with an s.com, and there you will find my social media handle, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, so you can follow me on that. And what I have done yesterday, because a few days ago I celebrated my birthday, and in appreciation of all the love and the birthday wishes that I've received around the world, I am giving my book, my first book that I published. I've written about 5 books now, but the first one called Revelations of Relationship, What You Don't Know About Finding True Love and Sustaining Relationship. I'm giving you that for free. You can download it easily. But the way to get there is through my social media handle, especially on Instagram. You will see a link in my bio. Just click that link and you will get that book downloaded. Otherwise, you can just go on Amazon and get yourself a copy. gfemspeaks.com. There you'll find other impactful articles and messages that can help enhance your relationship journey. Thank you once again for having me, and I hope you guys have a blessed weekend ahead. Cheers to your improvement.
Oh, wow, amazing. Because thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for gracing us with your presence and sharing your knowledge. Oh my goodness, I believe that our audience online have been really motivated from all of your messages. Really, thank you so much. And to our viewers online, thank you so much for joining us today at Rise to Greater Heights Network, where you can turn your fears into greater success while seizing new opportunities. I believe that with all the messages that all these amazing speakers have shared, you've been really inspired, motivated, and ready to rise to greater heights. So do join us next week at the same time, same place. Thank you. Merci. Siyabonga.
Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let him laugh, let him weep, let him yell, let him sing. All they wanna say. Let him lay me traps and men to pray to Jehovah, me I pray. Let I be me instead of playing games. For chasing fame, let somebody spread the lack of flames. No, living my life to the fullest and shout out my halala to the fullest. Let my lungs out. I'm still rising up to greater heights as long as